Over the last couple of months, there has been a lot of discussions about dealership inventory rising. This means that dealerships can't sell cars, which means that car prices will plummet due to a massive oversupply. But the truth is, this doesn't really paint the full picture of the current state of the car market. In fact, I would go as far as to say that it just isn't really accurate. You see, many of these online reports come from the same UBS Group report that was published in April. So I'm not really sure why articles from this month are quoting articles from going on over 6 months ago. But in this article, investment group UBS found and stated that global car production will exceed sales by 6% this year, leaving in excess of 5 million vehicles that will require price cuts to get sold off lots. And UBS Group was quoted directly in saying, "Given the bullish production schedules, we see high risk of overproduction and growing pricing pressure as a result. The price war has already started unfolding in the EV space, and we expect it to spread into combustion engine segments in the second half of 2023. And the truth is, as we sit here today in the fall of 2023, this has already been proven to be inaccurate. Because while there have been a handful of price cuts here and there throughout this year, most notably in the electric vehicle segment, and with most recently coming from Tesla and Ford with the F-150 Lightning,
Tesla now, whose stock is down 20% in the past 2 months, including a 2% drop today after they announced another round of price cuts. These are the 5th price cut since January, and they come about a week before new rules for EV tax credits go into effect. Let's turn to Phil LeBeau. Phil, does that explain their move here?
Hey, Jared, how's it going, man? So yeah, big price cuts here for the Ford F-150 Lightning. Like you mentioned, as much as $10,000 for the Pro base model, but price cuts go across the board, anywhere from 9 to 60% off across all the trims. Plus, Ford is offering $1,000 off this month as an added bonus.
But what we aren't seeing is price cuts in the gas-powered segment like this article predicts. With cars like the 2024 Silverado, GMC Yukon, and the Ford Bronco, as well as a slew of others, actually seeing price increases in recent months. And according to Cox Automotive, new vehicle transaction prices are actually up 0.1% year over year. And I'm not saying that this 0.1% increase year over year is a bad thing, because in fact, this is sort of a feat in itself. This is the smallest year over year price increase for new cars that we've seen in nearly a decade. But what this does tell us is that as we sit here today, new car prices haven't plummeted like this article predicts. And again, this article is the one that many people are using whenever they talk about prices plummeting, a price crash, and an inventory oversupply. And while vehicle inventory absolutely is rising, and we are in a significantly better position inventory-wise today than we were a year ago, we are still very far away from having a 5 million vehicle inventory surplus. In fact, I would go as far as to say that we have a better chance of learning that Santa Claus is real at the end of the year than we do of having a 5 million vehicle surplus at the end of the year. According to Cox Automotive and vehicle inventory data, vehicle inventory recently topped 2 million vehicles, which is the first time that this has happened since 2021. With just over 2 million as of September 4th, 2023, which equates to 58 days worth of supply, and these vehicles are being listed for an average list price of $47,417. We can compare this to this time last year where inventory was at 1.23 million, which equates to 41 days supply and an average vehicle listing of 46,398. We can compare this to this time last year where inventory was at 1.23 million, which equates to a 41-day supply with an average vehicle listing price of $46,398. So inventory is absolutely rising, but so is prices. All in all, this is great news. We want to see inventory rising, especially if we want to see the car market return to pre-pandemic levels. But this idea that we are seeing a surplus of inventory and an inventory increase is going to lead to a price crash, as of right now, it just simply isn't true, and I don't see this becoming a reality anytime in the near future, at least not in 2023. And this doesn't even begin to touch on outside factors that are absolutely affecting inventory as well. Pandemic-wise, automakers are slowly but surely getting their act together with the exception of a few automakers. You can see here that Chrysler, Dodge, and Ram top inventory with 119, 116, and 111 days worth of supply. But Honda, Kia, and Toyota are once again lagging behind with 28, 30, and 32 days worth of supply. And many other automakers are hovering around that 50-day average. But one thing that UBS April report did not take into account is the UAW strike, which has recently begun.
For the past 24 hours, we've been actively bargaining with Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis. UAW family, that deadline is nearly here. Tonight, for the first time in our history, we will strike all three of the big three at once.
Which you can't really blame the report for not mentioning that, because how are you supposed to know back in April that a strike was going to happen in September? But this is again one of the many reasons why we don't trust a report that was published 6 months ago. As of recording this video, the UAW, which is the union associated with the automotive industry, has gone on strike, fighting for things like improved benefits, wages, and a say in the direction that the automotive industry is heading. And if this UAW strike is not resolved relatively quickly, it could end up resulting in many of the same effects that we had during the pandemic. Low inventory, long turnaround times with new vehicle shipments, or even just standard vehicle repairs, and car prices could end up going up. The fact is, a price crash in 2023 due to a massive inventory oversupply, it's just not going to happen. But that doesn't necessarily mean that this is all bad news for the car market either. According to Cox Automotive, there are currently 2.25 million unsold used vehicles, which equates to a 44-day supply, with the average listing price sitting at $26,651. And this is a massive improvement from where we were this time last year, where there was 2.46 million cars, which equates to 50-day worth of supply, and the average listing price was $28,064. And so while inventory actually has gone down over the last year, car prices have gone down as well, which means that there is less demand with the used car market, and dealerships and vehicle sellers are willing to negotiate more on price, which is great news. And while I don't think oversupply is going to be a mass market problem across the entire car market, we also have to acknowledge the fact that some automakers actually do sort of have an oversupply problem, while other automakers don't at all. For example, looking at Infiniti, Buick, Lincoln, Ram, Dodge, and Chrysler, which all have well above the average inventory levels for automakers currently. And with these specific automakers, there is almost no doubt that you could get a solid deal on a buy. But we also have automakers like Honda, Kia, Toyota, Lexus, and Subaru that are well below the average for inventory, and with these vehicles, it's going to be a much harder time getting a good deal. This graph is the most up-to-date graph for automaker inventory, so it is a great tool to use to see how inventory is trending. The point is, inventory is not skyrocketing and prices are not plummeting, at least right now. But I do still wholeheartedly believe that the car market is in for a wild ride once the US debt situation kind of bubbles to the surface, once student loan payments resume, and once the current state of our economy really sets in. Which includes things like interest rates potentially going up even more, unemployment rising, as well as a slew of other issues. And once these types of issues begin to come to the surface is whenever I ultimately predict that we will begin to see car prices actually plummet. But unfortunately, I don't know exactly when this is going to occur, and I don't think it's going to be due to short-term overproduction. But like always, you guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comments, if you have anything to add, I would love to hear it, so make sure to leave a comment down below. And while you guys are at it, make sure to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.